Hello and welcome to our wonderful sponsors, Micro Center, where I have a simple question. Is it a good idea to build an all-Intel gaming PC? Starting out with, we have our CPU. Whoa, look at that, the Core i7-12700K. One of the nice things about doing this all-Intel PC build here at Micro Center is that they have some really good bundles going on right now. So pairing the i7-12700K CPU with this Asus Prime Z690p Wi-Fi board and 16GB of G.Skill flared DDR5 memory is only $350, a smooth $420 discount over MSRP. I will, however, be adding on to the 16GB of RAM that come with the bundle with one additional DIMM, which I think makes a lot of sense if you are going to be utilizing DDR5. What's the point of that extra speed if you don't got those dual DIMMs to take advantage of it? The real star of the show here, though, are these Intel Arc GPUs. Now, I will be honest with you, I have not built a gaming PC with an Arc GPU. I want to go with the reference A750 at $250.
It's easy to forget that Intel only released this first generation of their consumer GPUs a little over a year ago, and in that time span, they have made huge strides optimizing not only for new titles, but they've even made some pretty big steps on older games as well.
Next up, let's choose our SSD. For this one, we're going to keep it very straightforward. So we're going to go with the WD Black SN770. For the power supply, we're going to go with this, the 650 watt power spec. We've used these in a ton of builds before. They're semi-modular, and importantly for this system, because we're going for a little bit of that white and blue clean aesthetic, this will fit in nicely. So with our i7-12700K, it is a quite good gaming CPU, but it also is fairly power hungry, which is part of the reason why, of course, does not come with a stock cooler in the box. There are some of the larger coolers, but I actually think we could save a little bit of money and get a little bit of a smaller cooler like the Deepcool HE400. For our case, we do have just enough budget to get something that's relatively nice. So this is the Montage Sky 2. Part of the reason why I want to try this is because it comes in Morocco blue, which, if you're looking for an all Intel build, there are not exactly an enormous amount of blue case options, which if you look at it on the site, it actually looks kind of cool. It's not like the super traditional, very saturated blue. And for $110, it's got the 4 RGB fans. It should work pretty well. Last but not least, we're gonna pick up a copy of ESET Gamer Edition, and we'll be ready to build ourselves an all Intel gaming PC.
Now, unlike most builds where I go into much more depth, I'm gonna fast forward to this because honestly, you've probably seen me build a bunch of PCs. The main thing I want to check out first and foremost is the Arc A750, because I'll be honest, I have actually never seen one of these in person. I have seen photos of them. The stock coolers actually look kind of neat, but I actually want to see what this thing looks like. So we have Arc A750 limited edition. You don't buy a GPU for the looks, most of the time. Oh, we got a little sticker. Intel, you know what they love? They love stickers. Something else I want to do is take a look at our case. Okay. I think this was a good call. That's a nice shade of blue. Please lay the case down when removing the glass side panel. What's the worst that could happen? Okay, I'm not gonna lay it down. What happens? What? That's fine. There. Okay, Mom, I'll put the side of the panel down. But the most important question we have to use it as our North Star for today's video. Should you build an all Intel gaming PC? And if you do, what is that experience actually like? Cut to the building montage. Moac, baby! That, my friends, is an Intel Arc powered gaming PC. So we've done some cable management. I will say it actually looks relatively good. There's a couple of these white cables I don't really know what to do with, but for the most part, I actually think that this is a pretty solid looking system. Oh wait, I've got a Core i7 badge too. Where should I put the Core i7 badge? Mo Arc Core. There you have it, my friends. Mo Arc, Mo Core, Mo Power, baby.
And more power, baby.
Now I will admit, I'm slightly partial to the system now that it's actually built and it looks all cool and everything, but let's put this all Intel gaming PC build to the test. So while we're about to do some gaming, one thing I do want to try is the encoding on this Arc GPU, because for 250 bucks, this is a big deal if you are a streamer or if you work with large video files like we do. So right now, I've loaded up a 50 gigabyte, 14-minute ProRes 4K file, and I am now compressing it with the AV1 encoding and Handbrake, specifically using our Arc GPU. So I'm currently doing this video at 60 FPS. I'm going to, just for the sake of comparison, do the exact same thing on my MacBook. My God, look at that. On the MacBook, I'm getting 6 FPS. On the Arc GPU, I'm getting 60. That is wild. And keep in mind that while this is a laptop, this is a like $3,000 MacBook. Mind you, if I was using a different codec like H.265, it would be significantly faster. So for context, we start out with a 53 gigabyte file, and I was able to compress that 53 gig file down to 374 megabytes and double real time. That is surprisingly good. Look at that quality. All right, enough of this video encoding. Why don't we play some games? So we have loaded up several of the most popular games on Steam. So let's start out with CSGO, which is the most popular game on Steam. And yeah, 284, 304. This is nice. This is good. I'm gonna say thumbs up to CSGO. Next up, we have Dota 2, the second most popular game on Steam. Now, this, while not quite as old as CSGO, I believe this is a DX11 game, I'm assuming that this has been well optimized. Rendering, how about I just do best looking? I want maximum look. Maxed out settings, we're currently looking at about 120 FPS. In fact, actually, I think we're capped at 120 FPS. Next up, let's try Apex Legends, a little bit more of a modern title, which while not massively demanding, I think is probably a pretty good match for this system. So video, yeah, 720p. How about 1080? Thank you. Even though this is not the most powerful GPU in the world, we paid $1,000 for this gaming PC. I better be able to play games 1080p max. We're the champion squad. Oh no, why am I in the champion squad? So before we drop, we're looking at about 100 FPS. I will say that if we can keep this performance up as we actually like jump around, I will be quite content. So even here down on the ground, the lowest I'm seeing is it's dipping to about 100 FPS. So next up, we're gonna do GTA 5, which is admittedly quite an old game, but still a game that can be somewhat taxing when you crank everything up. All right, so GTA 5, we've got DX11. I'm gonna basically just crank this up because there's no reason why I wouldn't. Yeah, wow! Look at that, we're dipping down 35, 34, 31. Let's take a look at our settings in Warzone. So I'm gonna try quality, full screen, yada, yada, yada. So Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone are new enough that they should be really well optimized. Oh yeah, look at that. I mean, dropping in, we're above 60 FPS, which is definitely a good sign. First impressions, I think we actually might be good here. I'm looking at solid 70, 80 FPS on quality settings. So I'm gonna try from, oh no! No, no, don't fall, no, he's above me. How do I get up? How did I love, how many times, what? There's like 7 shots in the back, man. Next, let's try Cyberpunk, which is going to be the most demanding game, well, one of the most demanding games, period, but certainly the most demanding game that I'm gonna try on this system. Now, the thing with Cyberpunk is, this is a game that should have been optimized for the Arc GPUs, but also it's a game that can actually take advantage of some of the Arc's specific features. So technically, while I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, this GPU does support ray tracing. So, oh my God, quick preset, ray tracing ultra? I mean, it did default to ray tracing ultra. Like, I'm not gonna do that, right? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna do it. All right, it thinks we can do ray tracing ultra. No, you know what we're gonna do? Let's do ray tracing low. I think if we can do ray tracing low, I'd be very happy. Texture quality high. We do have Intel XeSS, much like DLSS and sort of like a Fidelity FX, is Intel's upscaling method where it's going to work together with the game to run it at a lower resolution and upscale it in a way that will keep the image quality clean. When it works well, it's a slight hit to your image quality, but a fairly substantial improvement to your performance. So on, high, on. I am surprised. Cyberpunk, we're on like high, ultra, almost everything. There's a couple settings we're not like on extreme, and ray tracing again is on low, which I think is probably the right move. I don't think this is gonna work. I think that this is too ambitious, but let's give it a try. With ray tracing on, I think we're gonna be like 30 FPS. Oh, 70 FPS? Yo, So even as we run through it, I'm not seeing anything below 60. And keep in mind, 1080p, pretty much high and ultra settings across the board, the defaults. The only thing I did was I turned the ray tracing down to low, which even a little bit of ray tracing can make a pretty big difference. That is impressive. And you look at this compared to something like GTA 5, this is so much more visually impressive. This, I think, is probably the best example of the theoretical performance of this GPU, because let's not forget, this Intel GPU, it is a big physical chip. And if it has the proper optimization, you should expect some seriously solid performance, well above that $250 price point. That is terrific. I'm legitimately impressed. This is the best demo we've done so far. Like, if this is what these ARC GPUs are actually capable of, like, we're barely touching 60 FPS in some of the more demanding scenes. With ray tracing enabled, man, last time I tried ray tracing on a slightly lower end card, I was getting like 6 FPS. Mind you, it was significantly lower card, but average FPS 71, minimum 50, that is freaking awesome. Buying an Intel GPU and going for an all Intel system is a little bit of a gamble, right? Because you are betting that Intel are going to continue to improve this tech. But so far, they've had a sterling track record of constantly making improvements. And where the technology is at right now, it's pretty good for $250, man. As is the fine deals at our wonderful sponsor, Micro Center. If you're a new customer to Micro Center, if you go in store, you can get yourself $25 off of a processor, and on top of that, you can get yourself a free 128 gig flash drive with the opening of the brand new Indianapolis Micro Center, which I may or may not be going to very shortly. It's the first time they've opened a Micro Center in 8 years. Last but not least, they also have a ton of laptop deals going on this month, which of course you can find at the links in the description. Thank you very much to Micro Center for sponsoring this video, and until next time, my friends, I'm pretty happy with this one. Not gonna lie, pretty happy.